This is going.
Lost
All
night.
right, everybody. It looks like we are live. And it is going to be a fun. I know it's a fun night. Dude, it's Hallows Eve. Tomorrow is Halloween. I'm excited. How about you? Got any plans?
Oh yeah, I'm dressing up as a depressed Raider
This is
fan.
going. All right, everybody. Oh my gosh. Hey, Mickey, guess what? What was it? Was like? Was it the joke that what is the Dallas? What does Jennifer Lopez have more than the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, ring. Well, they've actually got quite a few rings, so
Oh man. All right.
that's funny.
So, all right, man. It is Hallows Eve. I am, of course, your host, Centurion 1307. This is my counterpart over here, Mr. Psychosomatic, aka Mickey. I almost forgot. I barely
What's
call him
up?
Psychosomatic.
Well,
I just refer to him as Mickey.
it's all good. I forgive you.
But, all right. So, lots to talk about tonight. We've actually, in my opinion, had some stories pop up, some things for conversation. But, let's just have a little bit of fun, just real quick. So, Mickey, what have you been playing?
New World Eternum. That's pretty
Okay.
much what I've been playing since our last one. So I've been playing the snot out of that game. Love it.
I'm actually having fun. Mickey here bought me New World Eternum. And I'm having fun playing the game. In my opinion, it had a way better launch than. See, for me, Throne and Liberty had a great demo, but then on the launch, it was like, hey, we busted our UI before the launch. So I mean, I never went back to Throne and Liberty. I know it's probably fixed by now. I need to probably like get over it and just go back. But now with New World, though, I'm actually having a lot of fun with New World. I'm enjoying the story. Just for those that don't really know too much about New World, it's obviously an MMO, a fantasy MMO. It's done by Amazon Games. So, yes, it is published by Amazon. It's been rocking over on the PC world for a little while now. And it just made its appearance on console. And it's an Arthurian story. It's based off of King Arthur lore. And I mean, I was actually shocked about that. And I'm actually enjoying playing the game. So,
Yeah,
but
it's got a little bit of everything, so it's a really fun game.
so I did finally roll the credits on Sandland. Dude, Mickey, I wish I could get you into games like that. That game had a twist on religion that was just absolutely like mind-blowing. I enjoyed playing that game. The story was very unique, and definitely I was definitely very happy. I put like probably like 50, 60 hours into that game. I had an absolute blast playing it, and I actually rolled the credits about 2:30 last night on it. And then I've also been going down the road of Halloween, the spooky games, which is going to bring us into our first discussion here. But I bought 2 games earlier, and I only played one of them so far for Halloween, and Halloween's tomorrow, so I doubt I'm going to get the other game out. But I did buy. Wow, are you watching football?
No,
It's about
no,
to
I'm
say,
actually.
man.
I
Really?
pulled up TikTok actually because I saw a game that came up on my feed, and I'm going to get that one too.
What game's that?
And it's called Retreat to Enon.
I don't know what that one is. I will be honest.
It's like a survival game, but like you build your house, you go hunting, stuff like that. But I don't know, it just looks pretty cool. graphically it looks really nice, and it's just an interesting game. So I think I might end up getting that one too.
Well, the game that I bought two games. The first one I bought was Alan Wake 2, and that's the one I haven't played yet. I need to play that one for sure. But I also bought Alone in the Dark. I was intrigued, especially
Okay.
considering David Harbor. Arbor is one of the main characters in the game. Those who don't know who that is, he plays Hopper in Stranger Things. He's actually also made some
I've heard of
appearances.
his name.
Yep,
I've
he's
heard
also
that
made
name.
some appearances in like Sony's like screen live action to the big screen Gran Turismo movie. And also he was in Violent Night where he got to play Santa that goes around and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
beats
That's
the
okay.
holy
I
hell
remember.
out
Yeah.
of freaking terrorists.
He was also he was in one of the uh I want to say it's in one of the super in one of the it's a DC or Marvel movie. I can't remember.
I did not. Okay, yeah, I don't. I would not be able to know if he was in DC or Marvel.
Oh, I think it was Black Widow.
Okay, that one.
I I,
I'll be honest. I missed that one.
I think I'm pretty sure I'm 90% sure he's in that one. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, I know who you're talking about though.
So I played that for Halloween, and then what distracted me from getting into Alan Wake 2 was I've started playing Metaphor Refantasmo, but I don't know if I'm gonna end up. I don't know what's gonna happen because we got freaking Dragon Age freaking tomorrow. There's just way too much coming out.
Hmm.
And then I also got distracted by this game called Funko Fusion. Uh, dude, Funko Fusion. If you enjoyed the Lego games, you would enjoy Funko Fusion. I'll at least put that out there.
Hmm.
But getting
I
back,
still gotta play the Lego games.
oh, dude, they're all fun, at least for me. So getting into the Halloween spirit of things, like I said, I want to make this fun. Mickey, have you played any scary games? Do you enjoy that genre? Like, you could even be like, I don't play that shit. It scares me. There's no judgment here. But I'm just asking, like, if you don't play them, like, what was the last or only scary game you've ever played?
I don't play them because they don't scare me. I just don't play them because there's not one that's really interested me, to be honest. Because it seems like most of them uh, um, are like either you're the main character or you're like, like the Friday the 13th one.
Okay, so you're
And
talking like those online ones where it's like
yeah,
5v1.
well, I mean, because a lot of them are like that. You know, I mean, I
Well, it
can't
doesn't
say
even
that
have to be.
I haven't played a whole lot of them, so I can't really say that they're all like that. But
Well, it doesn't even have
um,
to be like scary games, just games that you would probably feel more inclined to play around this time of year. Like we did Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. That was a fun one. I think that was what we did last year or the year before.
yeah, I mean, but that's not like scary though.
But you didn't even do Dead Space?
Um, I think I've probably only played like 15 or 20 minutes of that because I did start it, but I mean,
I'm going to be
there's
one
no
of those
game out
guys
there
that
that's
forces you to play them live on stream. Just to be like, let's see if he like if he like
I'd do it.
yawns
I
and
don't
wants to
care.
go
That'd
to
be fun.
sleep.
I would do it.
Well,
I mean, there's not really any game that I've played or that I've seen that I consider like scary. So I don't know.
so
I don't really play a lot of them.
the only time I get freaked out playing games on that level and that basically screws with my anxiety is when it has dealings with deep dark water.
Mm. Oh, I
And
see.
like yeah, like I'm just going to say it right now. take me in real life and drop me in the ocean and I can't see the bottom and it's just the big open blue, I'll start like freaking tripping.
So here,
I can
with you
handle I've
saying
been through
that,
some crazy situations. I can handle a lot of shit. But I'm just saying, you drop me in deep dark water and you're going to see me like start probably like having a panic attack.
now that you kind of said that, I'd say if I'll feed you something. The only one, if you want to consider it scary, um, would be BioShock.
Really?
And I'm not saying it's scary, but I'm saying it's,
Well, no,
I
there was
guess it's
some hair there was some
more
creepy
creepy
freaking
than
shit
scary, but
in BioShock. I could see that.
not really scary, but more creepy. So I guess I guess creepy is kind of my scary, but it's not really. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just I'm not really, scary games. They're just not really scary to me. So, but BioShock is pretty awesome. But that I'd say maybe that one's probably probably one of the more creepy ones that I played.
What creeped you out about BioShock? Just like how the people were?
Just like you get like little surprises here and there, you know. So the greatest surprise ever that I ever got that ever actually caught me off guard and scared me a little bit was I think it was the OG Resident Evil when that dog comes through the window in that hallway. That scared the shit out of me. That's the only time I've ever
Oh
gotten
my
that type
god.
of that scared me though. And that was pretty awesome.
I I think like with the way I play horror games is I'm always like ready for a jump scare because it's so I like creep down hallways and just slowly use camera angles and I'm like, oh man, like jump scares are what really kind of like catch you off guard. That's
Hmm.
for sure. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's where you haven't done basically played anything for
Yeah,
Halloween.
not really any. No, no. I don't usually do that because it doesn't really. I mean, it's not really a big thing to me, so it doesn't really matter. So I don't like play scary games for that part of the season or anything.
All right. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I guess let me start pulling up my notes here. So I guess we've been playing obviously New World. Did you dabble at all? Did you even poke at it with a sharp stick? Um freaking what's the one I'm looking for? Um Call of Duty.
Nope, not. I have not. And I told myself I was like, I'm going to get that because I think it's going to be fun. And then I saw the stuff that happened in the beta, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I didn't download it or nothing. I have not played a lick of it at all.
Really?
Not
Okay.
at
Well,
all.
I would have to say that I did think the game does appeal to me on a the game does appeal to me. We'll at least just say that. But I did not play it either. But I'm just saying apparently a lot of people did. I know what's his face
Oh yeah.
at I know one of the guys at work can't so here's like something that I'll probably make like big quick I guess kind of tidbit of like useless information if you want it might not even be useless. So I have a guy at work that essentially only has an Xbox Series S. He pretty much plays everything on Game Pass. That being said, he tried to download Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So apparently from what I can see, it's about within 20-25 gigs. I mean, it's about within 20 basically the size of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is almost too big for the Xbox Series S. And that is if you have a completely blank Xbox Series S where you only have the UI on it. But
Well,
he
that's if
has
you download the whole game, though.
right. Tried to download the whole game. So
Oh my
he
god.
actually had Nick at work had to basically go and essentially buy a card. I remember actually you remember him asking. You were there.
Yeah, I remember he asked you, yeah. That's I was about to say that too, yeah.
So
That's funny.
right. Um for a lot of people that don't know, yeah, Mickey now works with me. So here we go. Let's just kind of like start with some of the because I know here we go because I got to pull up all my notes. We're all ready to go here. And let's see if any's oh cool yeah. Let's see Jago6. Hey, thanks everybody for joining the chat. Let's
Thank you
see.
guys.
My best gaming jump scare was Gears of War when the Berserker breaks through the wall for the first time. Best moment ever. Yes. Call of
Actually, I
Duty.
remember that too. That was pretty good.
Call of Duty is free on Game Pass. Yes. Hello, gamers. Crew 6, Black Ops 6 is 90 gigabytes. Your friend downloaded Modern Warfare 2 and 3 probably. Yeah, I'm going to say it right now. He's not like me and Mickey here. He doesn't like, I mean, he went and bought a normal HDD. He didn't even buy an SSD. He went and bought an HDD hard drive and downloaded the game to that and tried to play it. He had no idea why the Xbox said it wouldn't play it. I actually had to like, I felt weird, but I had to actually explain to somebody who's actually older than I am what velocity architecture is and what an NVMe like an NVMe hard drive does, and that Xbox has a proprietary expansion card, and then it goes in the little magical slot in the back of the console that he didn't know what it was for. And it was like kind of like one of those aha moments where you see the light click on and they're just like, oh my god, that's what that fucking slot's for. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it's for. So yeah. And then I had to deliver the news and just be like, yeah, you know that like $60 hard drive you bought, you're gonna have to buy one that's gonna be about 120. Sorry. So, but getting back into it, here we go, Mickey. Let's start this off because apparently Call of Duty definitely. So all right, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has achieved record-breaking success on its launch day, setting a new benchmark for Game Pass subscriber ads. In other words, that is people actually getting into the actual service. Everybody's calling it subscriber ads. I believe that is like for people that have either let their stuff lapse or that basically qualify as getting back into the service. And this is according to Microsoft's CEO Satya Nadella, who called it the biggest Call of Duty release ever. The success contributed to Microsoft's impressive Q1 fiscal year 2025 financial report, which highlighted substantial revenue growth in gaming, driven largely by Microsoft's recent $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The game also saw record-breaking opening weekend PC player numbers and substantial increases in PlayStation and Steam unit sales. And like, so and then they did make a footnote here. However, physical sales in the UK were down likely to its Game Pass launch. So, I mean, okay, now this is one thing I don't like. So, for starters, PlayStation has been touting their digital purchasing is going up. We all know Xbox has always been like where a lot of people make purchase digital games, and the PC community, a vast majority of them don't even have a disc drive. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know why some of them are like, well, physical sales are down. Well, no shit. But that being said, though, like, just to really, there's according to Microsoft, they're saying that gaming revenue increased by 43% year over year, with Xbox content and services revenue up by 61%. And that's where, I mean, obviously, we were all wondering what was going to happen with the first official Xbox under the Xbox banner of studios. the first official Call of Duty release under that situation, and here we are. And like to really kind of like hammer it home, Mickey. So for starters, um, this comes out of the UK. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 sets a new record for gaming related internet traffic on the UK provider EEBT. So I don't know what that is over there, but it made it the biggest ever UK gaming traffic day for the provider. And now they are trying to say that there is a little bit of a thing for that because according to the website, it attributes part of the 144% week on week increase to that fact is that this is the first year the title is available on Game Pass, and it's so high due to they're saying that the preview suggests that the largest spike in traffic came on Monday, October 21st, the day the game became available for preload, with traffic driven so high due to its more than 100 gigabyte file size. Now, somebody in the chat did say it was 90, but I'm pretty sure they're rounding up maybe in this article. But at any rate, that's pretty interesting that, like we're seeing a lot of interest in Call of Duty all of a sudden. Now, Mickey, let's obviously have the conversation. Is this because Xbox put it in Game Pass? Or is this because maybe Activision may have pulled its head out of its ass a little bit and maybe created a Call of Duty game that really is appealing to the masses?
If I had to choose between the two, I'd say it's because it's on Game Pass. Because there's a lot of finicky Call of Duty players out there, and I've seen, through, various digital, um, plays like through YouTube and TikToks where, like some of the really popular gamers are like, yeah, they're not really too interested in it, or they're not playing it at all. Obviously, they don't make the whole, Call of Duty play line, but those guys are really popular with a lot of followers and stuff. So, but I mean, to me, if I rolled the dice on it, I would say it's because it's on Game Pass and and people have access to it, for free to play it, to try it out if they do want to buy it, or just play it and not buy it. So, I mean, that's kind of how I see it.
Well, I know it definitely got a lot of people excited, at least around where we work, because I mean, they were just excited that it was coming to Game Pass. They weren't going to have to fork out a whole lot of money for it. I even
Mm-hmm.
had one of our distributors who works for like Dexco call me and ask. He's like, "So what's this thing about Call of Duty and Game Pass? Is it worth it for me to get an Xbox?" And I had to even ask him, I'm like, that's entirely up to you, man. But just to let you know, it's not free because he plays a lot of Warzone, which I believe is free to play.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's
it is.
where, I had to explain to him, like, it's not exactly free. You do have to have the
To pay for
subscription.
Game Pass. Yeah, right. True.
But, you know,
But I mean, the subscription, number one, is already less than the game itself. And that's not the only game you have access to. You have access to a shitload of games. So,
right. And that's one thing
you
I told
know,
him too. But that's where he was like, so I was like, on the cheap end, you'd probably spend, you know, you could probably buy the game twice if you paid for a full month and a full year and you didn't even play anything else. But I'd be like, but that'd be asinine. I'd want to play other stuff. But he's like,
hmm
yeah, all I do is play Call of Duty. And I'm like, okay, well then
well, in that case, yeah.
it might just be relevant to just buy the damn game then and
Right.
just stick
Right.
with your PlayStation. Let's see. So Jago6 kind of like commented on what we told Nick. He uses his external USB to store all of his games and then transfers them back and forth between the internal memory, saying it saves a ton of time and not re-downloading. Oh yeah, that is for sure. That is absolutely for sure. I do the same thing. I just transferred a bunch of games to mine to be able to download the the metaphor game, And so there's that. But yeah, I had to explain that to the guy at work. He didn't even know that was possible. But yeah, he didn't understand that the game just won't play on any hard drive. It has to be on, like, either a card or in the internal hard drive. Um and yeah, even Crucix is saying that Game Pass, he believes it's Game Pass too. So that, I guess that's pretty much where we're at, is, Game Pass is making this a big success. And I'm just thinking that, hopefully Microsoft can keep this momentum going. And I'm really looking forward to exactly how this is going to look in the long run. Like, because we all know, like, player counts drop off really quickly, especially when you've got all this other content coming out. But let's look at, like, Game Pass as a whole, Mickey. We've got right now Call of Duty. In the next couple weeks, we're going to get Stalker 2. The next couple weeks after that, we're going to get Indiana Jones. And then about 2 months after that, I believe in February, we're going to get Avowed. I don't know if Microsoft is going to keep something in January to keep that going. But definitely, I'm just curious on if Microsoft is really going to hope to try to keep a lot of those new subs going with content drops in the service. So, but that's where we're at. Call of Duty is definitely blowing it out of the water. Like, me and Mickey here have yet to play.
Of course.
I know eventually we'll end up being like, hey, you want to download Call of Duty and just, screw around. But, that's pretty much where we're at on the situation. But getting
pretty much.
So, but that's where, where one person, this is where it does get sad in the comment I'm going to make. So a while back, Phil Spencer made a comment, and this was like many, many years ago, that essentially he does not ever want the success of the Xbox brand to be based on the failures of any other brand. And that being said, it has not been all like sunshine and rainbows and gumdrops and lollipops in the gaming world. We have had another studio closure. Actually, it's two studios. We were chatting about this, me and Blue on Twitter. You and I have even kind of here and there chatted a little bit of it. So that's where, at least opening it, because I have Sony's statement here, which we'll get into Sony's statement, but at least the notes I have on it. So Sony has decided to close Firewalk Studios, the developer behind the ill-fated Concord game, as well as Neon Koi, its mobile game studio, affecting around 210 jobs. Concord, which launched on August 23rd, 2024, was taken offline September 6th after disappointing reception. Like, let that sink in. Released on August 23rd, turned off September 6th. That's like, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Mickey?
That is so jacked. Gosh, dang, they didn't even give them a chance.
I know, right? It's nothing like that idea of like to like sometimes to have a service game, you got to grow and develop it, and I don't know what to say about that. And
I just don't understand.
I mean, like, did you not have any faith that the developers could maybe rescue it? Did you were just like, oh well, that sucks. Oh well, can it? Anyway, and from what it sounded like, they lost a lot of money on that deal. Like, I've heard so many numbers thrown around on the money that was basically flushed down the toilet over Concord. And like, I need to at least make a disclaimer right here. I am not clapping. I am not championing Sony doing this, because I'm thinking about the developers involved. I also don't want to see the gaming industry go down this spooky little cycle that I see starting to occur, which we'll obviously talk about here later, kind of like, hence the game, the spooky future of gaming. because this is like something like this is setting precedents now, because obviously, games are not allowed to fail. You can't have like stuff back in the day where, this new up and coming developer is able to create a smaller game, and slowly over time, by releasing smaller titles, grow themselves into a AA, AAA status and start releasing even bigger titles. It's like go big it's either go big, go home, or go broke. So, and I'm not, because me and Mickey were having a discussion about something earlier this week, and I told him that I could never wish, like very serious ill will on anybody. And, to sit there and be like, I hope Firewalk Studios goes out of business, and that, basically Sony's bank account is completely bankrupt. That's like, in my opinion, so whoever was in charge over at Sony that made the decision with Concord, I don't think it's because the game was sucked. I don't think that the game was like some people like were trying to say that it was like it felt that, it fit under a four-letter term as woke. I didn't really get into that side of the game. To me, it was more about the issue that the game felt like the same style game that has already been done and is already oversaturating the games as a service market, like with games like Overwatch and other games of that nature. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like
it was too close to Overwatch.
And that's why I was just saying, like, to me, it had nothing to do with character design or the morality of the developers involved, or it trying to tick off stuff in a box, as some would like to say. To me, it was just, you're creating a product for, like, you're already creating an oversaturated product for an oversaturated market. What do you think is going to happen? People are not just going to be like, I'm going to put down my game that I have invested hundreds of hours and a lot of money into for this, because it's the same thing. So,
I mean, shoot, I was willing to give it a chance, because we had talked about that. I was like,
yeah,
I would have checked it. I would have tested out, just to see. I mean, no big deal, but dude, they just.
What's so sad is they shut that game down so quickly that
so fast.
Yeah, and Mickey, it was about 3-4 weeks ago, which would have been the end of September, the beginning of October. I was walking around Walmart in Scottsdale, and they actually had a copy of Concord for sale at full price. And when I saw that, I almost was like, dude, did nobody get the memo? Or like, do they not like make anybody like, what the hell? Like, if somebody bought that, could you imagine trying to return it with how copyright laws are in the United States? And it's not like the person behind the cat, they're going to think you're full of shit. They're going to be like, yeah, they closed the game. This is a new release. Yeah, it was shut down in 3 weeks. All right. But despite the closure of Neon Koi, Sony CEO of PlayStation Studios Herman Hulst confirmed that mobile gaming remains a priority for Sony, and some affected employees may find roles within other Sony studios. And they also said that they also want to continue working on games as a service. So it's just like, could you imagine working for Sony right now and you're under that, like, hey, we're going to have you work on games as a service? You mean like that shit that you did with Concord? I don't want to be involved. That would be like, I could
seriously.
I could make the best game ever. I could put like my heart and soul into it and still get fired.
I mean, are you going to give it a freaking 1 week chance, or are you going to let it play out and at least try to get some money for it? Good Lord, man.
What's up, Mr. Glass? Thank you, good sir, for making it in. He said, hey, I made it. And he comes up and says, they should have gave it a character creator so you can make your own character. Are we talking about Call of Duty, or are we talking about Concord? That would have been different. Actually have your own damn character. Hey, look at something simple as a character creator to differentiate yourself. Oh my God. If
You
he's
know,
talking,
that's what they
if he's
should do.
talking
Like
about Concord, you need to be careful with dangerous ideas like that. You might actually make something unique.
that's I mean, he's right. Like, you know, being able to create a character that you want to, you know, and have options to, you know, to utilize to create your character differently, and also maybe a way to, you know, do the powers to where, you know, everybody's not the same too,
You know, like
or abilities.
kind of like what ESO is doing, because it would like the gameplay was feeling a little bland, so they came
Hmm.
up with that system now for scribing, where you would be able to change some of the aspects of certain skills and certain powers, and actually making them a little bit different.
I
But
think we talked about that too, and it was, I don't know. I have to try it out and see, because I haven't even tried it yet. So.
So I've already been getting into it on the Gold Road. It's not like you could do it's only to select stuff, and you can't just
Hmm.
go start changing stuff willy-nilly. Heck, that doesn't sound so you got to find, I believe they're calling them grimoires, and you got to, when you find these grimoires, it starts giving you the ability to start assigning different that specific skill in the grimoire to the skill that you're wanting to assign it to. And it makes it to where you're able to do different stuff, yes, but it's not like you can respec every single skill and move in the game.
Hmm.
But it still makes it to where you can do things a little differently.
Yeah, it kind of changes it up a little bit.
That's what I mean. I'm not like over here trying to, like, like with Concord, create an overcomplicated situation where, you're going to be like putting way too much time and effort into your build. For some people, they probably love that. But I know for people that just like to get in game, you wouldn't want to make it too overwhelming. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, like, that would be interesting if you could, like, Mr. Glass said, actually have a character creator in Concord, and then actually start like specking your character into the skills you want him to have, or the play style. Do you want him to be a healer, a tank,
Hmm.
damage or DPS, and then just goes on from there. So, but to kind of talk about the performance of Concord, released in August, it failed to reach Sony's expectations with estimates of under 25,000 sales and a peak of only 697 players on Steam.
Yeah, but how much time was that though? It was
That
like
was
1 week that they gave it.
it was approximately through, like, so I'm going to say that was 2, maybe 3 weeks at most.
Well, I mean, still, it's just, that's insane, dude.
So this is where, now this is, we want to get in. I want to read Sony's statement, but this is the reason why I want to read the statement. So according to them, Sony plans to learn from the issues with Concord to improve its live service game strategies. Herman Holst expressed gratitude to Fireworks Studios team, but noted that closing the studio aligns with future strategic goals. Nothing like managing from a spreadsheet. But yeah, so just so everybody can hear it, this is like, okay, um, I have it right here, Mickey. I'm like, so here we go. This was from Herman Holst. Dear team, I want to share some important updates from Sony Interactive Entertainment Studios Business Group. We consistently evaluate our games portfolio and status of our projects to ensure we are meeting near and long-term business priorities, aka appeasing our stockholders. As part of
Hmm.
our ongoing efforts to strengthen SIE studio business, we have made a difficult decision relating to two of our studios, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios. Expanding beyond PlayStation devices and crafting engaging online experiences alongside our single player games are key focal areas for us as we evolve our revenue streams. We need to be strategic, though, in bringing our new games to new platforms and recognize when our games fall short of meeting player expectations, or just making a game that was already done 20 fucking
Mm-hmm.
times over. But while mobile remains a priority growth area for the studio business, we are in the very early stages of our mobile efforts. To achieve success in this area, we need to concentrate on titles that are in line with PlayStation Studios' pedigree and have the potential to reach more players globally. If you guys have this pedigree, you don't have any faith that with your pedigree, the developers over at Firewalk Studio could have maybe resurrected this game? Okay. Well, with this refocused approach, Neon Koi will close and its mobile action game will not be moving forward. I want to express my gratitude to everyone at Neon Koi for their hard work and endless passion to innovate. Regarding Firewalk, as announced in early September, certain aspects of Concord were exceptional, but others did not land with enough players, and as a result, we took the game offline. We have spent considerable time in the past few months exploring all our options. After much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. In other words, that game is getting shelved. It is sunsetted. We holy cow. Somebody over at Bungie must have helped them learn that word. So,
Sad.
I know, right? I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, creative spirit, and dedication. The PvP first-person shooter genre is a competitive space that continuously evolves, and unfortunately, we did not hit our targets with this title. We will take the lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver future growth in this area. I know none of this is easy news to hear, particularly with colleagues and friends departing SIE. Both decisions were given serious thought, and ultimately we feel they are the right ones to strengthen the organization. They were given serious thought. They're you want to fire some people? Sure. All right. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go get Italian or Chinese after this? Let's go get Italian. Drinks are on me. That's probably how the conversation went. Neon Koi and Firewalk were home to many talented individuals, and we still work to find placement for some of those impacted within our global community of studios where possible. It's possible they might have a job somewhere else. I'm a big believer in the benefits of embracing creative experimentation and developing new IP. Well, when you do stuff like this, Mr. Hulse, nobody is going to want to experiment or develop a new IP because they all want a paycheck. However, going through substantial financials, especially a challenging economic environment, is critical. Okay, now I get it. They're wanting to grow the company, because even that was first. I was like, what do you mean growing? While today is a difficult day, there is so much to look forward to in the months ahead for the studio business group and our teams. I remain confident that we are building a resilient and capable organization driven by creating unforgettable entertainment experiences for our players. Thank you for your continued support. Wow, talk about that, that canned, sorry, we're firing you speech.
Yeah, no shit.
And so there, this brings us to the conversation, Mickey. Let's also check on our live stream here. Okay. Mr. Glass, Sea of Thieves is still going. Microsoft did not give up on it, and it became a great success. Yes, exactly, Mr. Glass. Sea of Thieves right there. I mean, dude, I actually own a physical and a digital copy of Sea of Thieves. I don't even need a Game Pass subscription to play the damn thing. And I did that because I bought Sea of Thieves physically. I enjoyed playing the game. My wife watched me play the game. She started playing the game, and then I bought the digital version so that way we could game share and play together. And then obviously as time went on, all of a sudden it appears in Game Pass. So that went from there.
I like Sea of Thieves too.
I know, right? Faded Blaze makes a good point. He comes into the chat saying, "What's up? I know why Neon Koi got shut down." And then he comes in out of left field with his statement saying that they got shut down because of Bungie. Bungie announced a Destiny mobile game. Wouldn't that be some bullshit?
What?
Oh my God. I'd be so pissed and be like, wait, I lost my job because of a Destiny mobile game. This is bullshit. What happens when that game don't work out? Oh, well. Oh my God. So, like, guys, so I think it's interesting that, you know, earlier I talked about playing Alone in the Dark, right, Mickey? Now, to put it out there mildly, Alone in the Dark?
Nearly 70% of consumers are willing to pay more for brands they trust, but earning that loyalty is no easy feat. Want to see how top brands are winning over customers? Download Marigold's relationship marketing trend.
There we go. Oh my God. That goes in, like, everybody. So just so you know, I am actually probably the crazy one. And like I tell Mickey every single day, in my brain, I have multiple tabs open. 4 of them are frozen, and I have no idea where the music is coming from. And today, one of my tabs was putting an advertisement in my damn ear.
That's funny.
So this article comes from thegamer.com, and it is obviously an opinion piece, but we're going to kind of get into it. In the article, Jade King argues that the game industry has lost its tolerance for failure, exemplified by the poor performance of Alone in the Dark, which led to the closure of developer Pieces Interactive. So, Alone in the Dark, this game came out this year. I played it. I actually had a good time playing it. Was it a Resident Evil game? No. Did it remind me of Resident Evil in some of its puzzles? Yes. It was definitely, in my opinion, a very nice looking game. The acting with David Arbor and the other actress that like his cohort in the game, definitely the voice acting with them was done well. I'm just a little just kind of like taken back that, you know, apparently in the game industry, all of a sudden executives and publishers and stockholders have very lofty expectations.
Lofty.
Yes.
Very fucking lofty.
King reflects on how the high costs and risks of game development now require games to be immediate successes, leaving little room for innovation or experimentation. Let's go back to Herman Hulst's comment saying that he likes an innovation and experimentation, but when we see shit like what happened with Firewalk Studios or the shit that happened with Arcane Austin, guess what? Experimentation and innovation takes a back seat towards, I got kids to feed.
Right.
She laments the industry's shift away from nurturing smaller, unique titles and the increasingly difficult environment for new and existing studios to succeed. So, when it comes to Alone in the Dark, the game failed to achieve critical and commercial success, resulting in the closure of Pieces Interactive by parent company Embracer Group. The article emphasizes the heartbreak of seeing 10 years of effort abruptly end. And then we go on to the risk aversion in gaming development. The modern game landscape requires games to be massive successes to survive. High production costs and long development times discourage studios from taking risks, leading to a homogenization of game design and a loss of creative freedom. The pressure for immediate success limits developers' ability to try new ideas. King argues that the industry focused on established franchises and live service models stifles innovation and discourages players from exploring diverse gaming experiences. which is because now we're also looking at the changing in player behavior, because in today's gaming culture, it is incentivized for players to stick with a popular live service title, reducing the willingness to try smaller or less known games. They should have known that about Concord when we said you're creating an oversaturated game that's been done 20 times too many, and you're going to interject it into an oversaturated market. Like, games as a service takes advantage again of the consumer's reduced willingness to try smaller or less known games. Cool. PlayStation learned you just can't slap a PlayStation logo on it and that shit's gold.
That's true.
This shift marks a departure from previous eras when players were more open to discovering hidden gems. And that, like, we all remember the nostalgia back in the day for past gaming experiences. Even the author reminisced about the time when discovering a new game could lead to a transformative experience, citing Demon's Souls as an example of a game that succeeded despite initial struggles. And she goes on to question whether the industry can produce similar breakthrough titles in the future. And that's where we're basically stifling developers from wanting to be creative or wanting to experiment, because they want to obviously keep their jobs. They want to make money. And we're going to find very few and far between developers that are willing to take that risk. And like I was telling Jacob at work the other day, the only way for a developer nowadays to build the game that they want is to self-publish. Because if they are going to stand before anybody and ask for money, they're more worried about the return on investment. They don't give a shit about your dream or how fun that you want to make the game, or the group of individuals that you're trying to reach out to basically give them something to latch onto as a piece of art. They don't care about any of that. They just want to know about the return on investment, aka money.
Right.
And this brings a concern for new studios for, trying to get into gaming. The failure of an established franchise like Alone in the Dark raises concerns about the prospects for new studios and innovative games. The author warns that without systemic change in the industry, unique and creative games that basically, innovation and experimentation will become increasingly rare. So, yeah, dude, that's where we're at. I mean, so we got the thing going on. So, Mr. Glass is right. Microsoft is probably hiring great developers. I know.
That's funny.
Let's see. Oh, Faded Blaze is saying there's already gameplay out for Bungie's mobile game, and he can't wait to see how Marathon and Fair Games turn out. I'm curious, dude, I'm going to say it right now. If Marathon flops, cover your ears, kids. Bungie's fucked. They put
Marathon is that another game that they're bringing out?
Bungie has put all their eggs in a basket and put all their money and a lot of time, and a lot is riding on the success of Marathon. Yeah, Faded Blaze, lofty expectations and toxic positivity. It's okay, guys. It's all right. We can do this, team. It's like Rocky Maivia back in the day. Oh, golly gee willikers, I'll do better next time.
Yeah, that's funny.
Dude, Faded Blaze makes a damn good point. It's funny how everyone is calling for Phil Spencer's job, but won't call out Herman Hulst. Dude, we've already been making jokes that, where's the picket signs from all the freaking from all the gaming media sites and all the people on social media, about, what PlayStation just did or Sony just did to Firewalk and Neon Koi. But heaven forbid, Microsoft does the same thing. And, yeah, dude, keep that same energy, kids.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Faded Blaze also comes in with that's the reason why third-party developers stopped making deals with Sony like Crimson Desert. Dude, I mean, dude, you know, I'm just in shock that, like, is this like, what gaming is honestly going to turn into? Like, that's why he says it's spooky. It's spooky to really think about it. I'm being absolutely honest on that because, I mean, could you imagine a time in gaming where developers care less about experimentation and innovation and they worry more about just keeping their damn jobs?
I mean, they all kind of, all kind of works hand in hand, though, because without the innovation and stuff, you're not going to make a good game. So,
Exactly. Well, that kind of brings us to, so like, what is the one game right now that has made a lot of waves about having freedom of development, experimentation, innovation? It came out about this time last year on PlayStation first, and then it was released on Xbox in December because there was some obviously development issues. That's the hint. In what game are we talking about, Mickey?
you have to give my brain a second because
I'll give you 3 letters. What? You thinking?
I have to try to reach back, and
I'll
my
give you 3
memory is not
letters
as
to
good as
throw on
it
it.
was.
D&D.
Okay.
What
Dude,
game? What game
it's gotta
revolved
be right
around
there.
Dungeons and Dragons? Oh my God! You bought it for me, my homie. You got it for me for Christmas.
E&D.
Baldur's Gate.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Yeah,
Dude, I have all the games that we have. I have to sit there and try to flip through my mental. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Yeah.
So
You're right.
here we go. Published on GamesRadar.com. Title: As the Prince of Persia Metroidvania team disbands, Baldur's Gate 3 dev says if Ubisoft wants subs over sales, then developers must get used to not having jobs. I thought that was pretty hard, but then when I was like seeing like, so everybody, when I like create these shows, I try to connect the dots because I'm not over here trying to freaking like, 1 minute talking about apples, the next minute we're talking about oranges, or not even
right.
like, well, it's still fruit, talking about apples, then broccoli, and then, just a total different off the wall subject. Like, no, we want to try to keep a flow going. So in the article by Anna Koslek, Leon Studios' Michael Dowse critiques Ubisoft's recent decision regarding its subscription-based game strategy, particularly following the disbanding of the team behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Just for those who understand, that is like the Metroidvania side-scroller Prince of Persia game that I actually bought and is sitting in my backlog. I am glad that I at least attempted to support that damn developer. I mean, it was a very unique game. I played like probably an hour or 2 of it, and I then obviously got freaking ADHD'd and went somewhere else. But that's how it works, man. Like I literally, my wife today noticed. She even asked me. She's like, "How the fuck do you switch from games so quickly?" And I'm like, ADD? I don't know.
We have a bad backlog, but Phil has a large backlog.
I know. If I ever wanted to like totally mentally mindfuck Mickey, I would just give him my sign in to my Xbox, and he would probably sit there staring at the screen all day, like, I don't know what
usually
to do.
Usually I'd be like, hey, that'd be cool, having all those games, but no, I think I'll pass on that for now.
Mickey would.
I wouldn't know what to do with my brain.
Mickey, what have you been playing for the last hour? Trying to figure out what to play.
That's the truth.
I'm actually, I know they're like, I think it's Dowsey or Dowsey or I don't know. I'm bad with names, but Dowsey argues that that Ubisoft's focus on subscriptions over traditional game sales is flawed, emphasizing that this model negatively impacts developers and players. He suggests that if companies prioritize subscriptions, they should not be surprised by poor sales outcomes for their titles. And we go into, so just so everybody knows that, yes, Ubisoft recently disbanded the team behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, redirecting them to projects with higher sales potential, which sparked Dusey's criticism. And his critique of the subscription-based strategy, he argued that Ubisoft's approach to that is broken. He points out that the last major successful game on their platform was Far Cry 6, in 2021, suggesting that their subscription model is underperforming. He does believe that if The Lost Crown had been released on Steam, it would have performed better commercially, possibly leading to a sequel due to the team's strength. And that's what I mean. That's one thing Ubisoft is really, because they even held back Star Wars Outlaws from Steam, and I think they're backtracking on that. I think Ubisoft is starting to backtrack and realizing that, like, regretfully, the subscription, dude, I already said a long time ago that the world is going subscription crazy, and people are getting subscription fatigue, and yeah, dude, I already saw that, the writing on the wall for that.
Mm-hmm.
He notes that creating a game rated 80, that's rated 85 plus is a significant challenge, and that the expectation for games to succeed under a subscription model can lead to negative consequences for developers, which would create job security concerns, where Dusey warns that if developers are pressured to create games that fit in a subscription model rather than focusing on quality and sales, it could lead to job insecurity in the industry. He argues that this approach is not sustainable or sensible from a business perspective, and he's making a call for change, and also the article itself is creating the call for change for a broader concern about the industry's direction, questioning whether prioritizing subscriptions will stifle innovation and the ability to create critically acclaimed titles. There's that word again, innovation and experimentation. So,
yep.
I mean, as we can all see, this is becoming a very spooky future. And that's why I was just like, here we go. All right. So, Mr. Glass in the chat, hopefully Game Pass will make enough money to refresh the games and bankroll new ideas. Faded Blaze, Sony is worried about live service money since they lost Call of Duty. Well, they didn't exactly lose it, but I'm pretty sure some people have switched over to wanting to pay a lot less for it. And I know I know they actually had some kind of deal with Activision where they would pull some kind of more profit from anything that was sold with Call of Duty. And I think that deal is gone now. So they're definitely not making as much revenue off of Call of Duty as they were. And yeah, Mr. Glass is on it. Mickey, he even said Dungeons and Dragons. Faded Blaze says he has a hot take. Microsoft will go shopping for studios when if Trump's administration gets into office and cleans house in the FTC. That would probably be something that could probably happen. We all know how Trump is with big business. I know that when Microsoft made the Bethesda purchase, that was under the Trump administration, and that shit went down so quickly and very silently. It was no big deal. And then here we are under the current administration with Biden, where there was obviously he appointed Lena Khan, who actually made a big deal out of this in the FTC. But we also, at least to play devil's advocate, the FTC was not alone. They were also joined by the Consumer Market Authority in the UK. So there would have been a lot of scrutiny, at least over from the CMA's aspect in the UK. And on top of that, I believe they purchased Bethesda for somewhere around like 8-9 billion, where Activision was 69 billion. So that was a large, I mean, there was definitely a lot of money exchanging hands, which I'm pretty sure also raised some eyebrows. So that's where I could not say 100% without a shadow of doubt that if Trump would have been in a second term while that deal went down, that there would have not been as much scrutiny. I don't know that because I mean, like, there's just a lot of things that were going on with that deal that go way beyond who the administration was at the time. But let's see, Jacob. Let's see, fun getting more. According to Jago6, he's saying that fun fact, Game Pass generates more revenue than Windows. So yeah, they be banking. I know that'd be interesting because Windows is like Microsoft's like number one subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And Faded Blaze comes in with his next theory, saying that when that happened, Microsoft might go after Ubisoft mainly because they have control over cloud distribution. But that's where I don't know what's in the fine print of that. If they bought Ubisoft, they could make the CMA could come in and once again make a requirement for them to at least sell the cloud distribution rights. Like there's a CMA liaison that they answer to about that whole thing. I think like they're going to be watching Microsoft very closely with the ABK deal for a few years. But hey, you never know. But
true that.
I know, right? So, getting out of it, let's talk about freaking a situation that Mickey here might have a certain feeling about. So, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Mickey. Are you excited to play it? You said you do want to get it like when it first comes out. Are you going to be day one, or are you going to probably like wait like a week or two?
I don't know yet. It depends.
Like something
it might be a week, but I'll wait and see though. We'll see.
Well, the only reason is it because the game is not resonating with you, or is it just because there's too much, or?
No, it has nothing to do with any of that.
Okay. Well, at least what is exciting you about Dragon Age the Veilguard?
Well, just from what I saw as far as the gameplay and stuff, again, it's just it's all in my alley. So, fantasy, MMO, dragons, magic stuff. It's just the whole Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing. It's just that's my flavor, and any game that comes up, I just get excited for that. Has that mixture of stuff, and I want to see, because when I deal with all these large MMOs, I want to see how each of them does their crafting, or how their how their actions are when you're casting, the spells they use, et cetera, because I like seeing different ways that these companies do it. So it just, it makes me excited. So I just want to see how they did it, and because that's going to determine on how much I grasp that game. Like with Eternum, so far, I mean, I like everything about it. I wish they had a few more abilities to choose from, but that's just being picky. So I want to see what Dragon Age gives us, and how they interpret everything. So I'm excited for it because I want to see how everything works.
So, have you played any of the previous Dragon Age games?
I did. I can't remember which one, but I played one and got pretty deep into it, actually. I can't remember which one it was, but it was fun.
What did you play?
It was a lot of fun. So, dude,
Xbox 360 or Xbox One?
No, the 360, because I didn't play the original Xbox.
No. Dragon Age came out on the 360. So when I say
Right.
Xbox One, that's
You're talking about
gen.
the Xbox One, the one after, right? Okay. No,
Mhm.
I think it was the 360.
So then you probably more than likely played the first Dragon Age, because I remember
I
when
think it was the first one or the second one. Yeah.
So when Dragon Age first came out, I've been playing Dragon Age since the first game, Dragon Age Origins. I had just came off the high of Mass Effect 1. So for a lot of people, they got onto the train of Mass Effect on Mass Effect 2. I was hooked on Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 1 was a total different playstyle than Mass Effect 2. I fell in love with the playstyle of Mass Effect 1. And when I kept up with BioWare, I actually told Mickey, I was like, dude, this company called BioWare, they're coming out with this game, which is a fantasy RPG with dragons and all that shit. And they're calling it Dragon's Age. And I actually showed Mickey the trailer for it. And I told him, I was like, dude, BioWare, they've got some really great storytelling techniques and game mechanics that really have made themselves stand apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I played the first one. Obviously, Mickey probably. I don't know if he got into the second one, but I even played the second one, Dragon Age 2. And I even still remember how that whole game revolved around a city and how the city would change over time based on the decisions you would make and how it would ultimately affect the end of the game. And then obviously Xbox One, with Dragon Age Vanguard. And I played the shit out of that one too. So I have literally rolled the credits on all three games. I didn't ADD it on these ones. So I can definitely say that I like Dragon Age. So it's been on my radar since day one. I've been keeping up with some of the people that do get, we'll say, access to some of this stuff early. They said that it's going back to form with BioWare, with the different characters that, that come from opposing or conflicting situations where they all have to unite under a common goal. And you, as the main protagonist, have to lead all these individuals that would never get along without your leadership. And so it's definitely a return, like, because I mean, like, if we look at like Mass Effect, you had oh my god, the Krogan trying to get along with oh my god, Garrus's people. I forget the name of them. I used to know all this shit, but the Asari, oh my god. Now you're gonna make. At any rate, dude, this is how ADD. I gotta know it. Sorry. Oh, Turians. There we go. How the Turians didn't trust the Krogan. The Krogan felt fucked over by the Turians and the Solarians. The Asari were like the galactic mediators, but they felt they were above everybody. Then you got humans interjecting themselves into the situation, and they're like the outsider that nobody wants around. And you have all of these individuals coming together under a common goal because a Turian, oh my god, dude. I forget it. Saren. Everybody had to reunite against Saren. Holy shit, Mickey. I swear I like these games. It's been a minute. I guess I gotta go back and play my Mass Effect trilogy again. But at any rate, I liked how BioWare would take a bunch of individuals from different cultures and backgrounds that would never get along, and you got to somehow unite them under a common goal. And that is basically the essence of Dragon Age. That's the essence of Mass Effect. And that it got me excited to hear that, we're going to have that return to Forum, considering, we were coming off of, let's face it, I enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda. I was pissed off when they ended it the way they did. And then Mickey and I here, we have certain feelings towards Anthem. We enjoyed Anthem. That game was bugged for Mickey day one. He bought the Legion of Dawn edition and was never given the Legion of Dawn like skins and stuff like that you were supposed to get. So nothing like paying $10 extra for a game and not getting your extra $10 worth of shit. But at any rate, what's bringing us to this conversation, because Mickey's not aware of what's going on. So according to there was a lot of people that got early access to the game. They went to some early access previews, and they also had some early hands-on stuff. And let's just say some of them, like, this is my whole situation on this. So this is going to open up to a two-part conversation. So Mickey, what has happened is some of the individuals that were invited to some of this early access decided to be not professionally critical, but overly critical. And we all know there's a fundamental difference between professional criticism and over criticism for the sake, basically by rather than saying this is a return to form for BioWare. It looks like they're getting in touch with their roots. And I'm not saying you can't have your concerns, but I also do feel that I know how gaming journalists rather drama bait their titles. And I'm sorry, but good news doesn't sell, but bad news, people are frothing at the mouth for it. And seeing the title that Dragon Age is going to be awesome, or Dragon Age is a shit show, one of them is going to drive more clicks. And so therefore, that's where some of these guys were still trying to skirt creating stuff that would basically fit the profile of bad news sells.
Okay.
I know BioWare isn't the same anymore, but at the same time, it comes down to they could take inspiration from stuff of the past, but this is where I'm going to definitely say that, like, let's get this out there right now, out in the open. You're allowed to wear whatever clothes you want. You're allowed to believe in whatever faith you want to have, whether that's not having faith or picking the faith that appeals to you. You're allowed to choose your own damn haircut. You're allowed to do all this stuff with the freedom of an individual, but somehow we bottle developers and we try to basically box them into this idea that you can't have the same freedoms I do when it comes to making my game. If the developer feels passionate about the product that they're developing and that they want the product to be a reflection of what they're doing, cool. I am never going to fault anybody. Like, I'm going to say it right now. Like, the idea that, like in society, like, I'm never going to go down the road of people telling me that women are always misrepresented in entertainment. I am actually watching a show right now from the mid-early 2000s where they have basically made one of the main characters a lead predominant role as a female, but they also have done their best to basically make her outshine the male counterparts. This is something that has been done in entertainment way before they did it in the 2000s. Like, look at Aliens with Ripley. I mean, Sigourney Weaver came in and completely freaking, you don't fuck with that bitch. Like that, I'm just saying. So I am totally not against, like, if you're going to make a strong lead female character, that's not going to butthurt me. As long as we're not over here making it to where it looks like you can recognize when stuff is definitely wanting to go down that road of basically wanting to become like some kind of political statement rather than I just want a strong lead female role.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to box developers into this idea that they cannot have any, like we were just talking earlier, innovation, experimentation, and creative freedom. I want developers to feel like they can have creative freedom. And if by some chance some of that goes against what some people's ideology for video games is, then, hey, guess what? You're like, I'm going to say it right now. And because this is no fact. I mean, like I've said this earlier on my channel, I don't try to hide this, but yes, I was at one time before I went through a lot of legal shit on paper that as a convicted felon, and it completely irked me when people would act like I'm going to go murder somebody when all I have on my record is a felony conviction for possession of marijuana. But anytime I would try to find a place to live, I had to worry about the ideology of other people that would not care about what it was. On paper, it was, don't let that dude live here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just say right now, that's why I'm just saying that, you know, you're just going to, like, I have just gotten used to people having different ideologies that I may not agree with, but I'm also not going to like lose my shit over it, because I'm just going to be like, well, fine, I'll go spend my money elsewhere. And it's honestly their fault, because like, so just so people understand, I do my own court stuff. I help people basically go through and basically fix their stuff here in Arizona, because I was actually one of the first people in Arizona that Arizona ever like clean slated their record. When Arizona finally passed the laws that made it possible for me to move on to something that I did when I was 19 years old, I spent 18 years with that shit on my record, and finally we were able to move on from that. So that's why I can't really, I guess because of what I've been through, I have just learned to accept how people feel. And if that doesn't line up with how I feel, then I'm just going to go put my efforts elsewhere. But that's where, you know, from the environment I'm in, I have seen a lot of people with stuff that I do not agree with. And, you know, I don't really know how to explain it other than okay, that's not for me. And I move on. So, but the reason why we're bringing this up, Mickey, is so these individuals that went to some of these hands-on previews of the game are now trying to say that EA is somehow trying to manipulate review scores for Dragon Age Vanguard. I mean, not Vanguard, Dragon Age the Veilguard. It was Dragon Age Inquisition was the third one. Ha! So we got Dragon Age Inquisition was the third one, and then we've got Dragon Age the Veilguard. And so they're trying basically, without divvying names, because we all know, like Mickey, I'll send you the video. We know one of them basically was denied a review code. They're saying that EA led them on and ghosted them, making them think they were going to get a review code, and that and then the review codes were handed out and they didn't get one. And they're trying to say that's because EA was looking to hand out review codes to reviewers that are more prominent for handing out 9s and 10s than reviewers that hand out 7 or 8s. And they were like, and we pride ourselves in never handing out a 10, and we very rarely hand out a 9. And so, and we had our, you know, we were already being overly critical of what we were seeing in the game. And it basically went down this road of like, EA is trying to be manipulative. And then all of a sudden now we've got, a couple of predominant members in the YouTube community that have very large followings that are almost trying to champion what this gaming journalist is trying to turn himself in the victim for by calling it access journalism. In other words, they were denied access, and that journalists have some unspoken right to have access to review codes, so that way they can give the consumers the information they need to make a purchase. But that is where this is a two-tone conversation on is the Veilguard going to be a decent addition to the Dragon Age franchise, and is it going to be, and the other conversation is this where are we once again seeing gaming journalists that basically are that basically feel that they have a right to review codes. We've seen, it's like, either give us a review code or we're going to bastardize your game on the internet and we're going to affect your bottom line and all this other stuff. When we all know the vast majority of the people that, listen to this, that we talk to, they don't go off of the main review scores from the main websites. They go and look at OpenCritic. They look at user scores. They look at Steam scores, because even Steam has a better scoring system. And they're like, we all know that major gaming sites pretty much are not always 100% reliable, because again, why? Some of them like to interject ideology into stuff. Other ones, you feel like, they're like buddy, and that they're not going to give a proper review because maybe that, like, oh my God, I don't want to make them mad. But yeah. But so the day, like on the bottom of this video, as I'm watching it, a message from ACG pops up underneath it. And no, it wasn't to me. ACG put this on YouTube for everybody. And for people who don't know, ACG stands for Angry Centaur Gaming. He has been one of the best game reviewers I've ever seen on the platform. And that being said, when he is given a review code, he still goes and buys a copy of the game and has a giveaway for the game. He does not live his life. He does not live and die on the sword by getting a review code. And this is where it comes down to, like, I'm sorry, but building your business or your brand on the idea that you got to get a review code from the developer or publisher for free is kind of like, a bad idea, because that means you're putting the fate of your own brand into something that's actually out of your control. That's like saying, hey, I'm getting 20 hours a week on overtime every single week consistently, and that means I can buy this house, I can buy this car, I could live this completely lavish lifestyle because I'm making 20 hours a week overtime, and nothing's ever gonna take away my overtime. I know people in the past that lived like that, and then all of a sudden financial struggles happened for the business and they cut off all overtime. You no longer have the money to pay for the house. You no longer have the money to pay for the car. That's basically living beyond your budget. You should never put your fate into something out of your control. And that's where, with ACG, his comment, I didn't realize there was so much chaff about Dragon Age codes and who got them. I didn't. But no one deserves a code. And I don't go to preview events unless it's a big game that seems to do something different, as I pay for them myself. Which means some companies may not see it too worthwhile, as they don't get multi-videos from me. I did check and ask, but they either didn't respond or just kept saying soon. So he tried to get a Dragon Age code, but the same thing happened to him as this reviewing site. Just wanted to inform, currently reviewing a couple that I did get a code for. I will play Dragon's Age, and I will discuss it when I have time for sure, though. So now we're into this conversation, Mickey, that, for starters, we're seeing a lot of people ready to dance on the grave of BioWare. We see a lot of people ready to dance on the grave of Dragon Age as a franchise. We see a lot of individuals that that are just basically foaming, frothing at the mouth, just to see some negativity and to celebrate the failures of a company. When honestly, initial impressions from people that actually are giving the game a solid chance. And we're talking beyond main review sites or people that are trying to get clicks on YouTube, because I know we're going to probably have, oh, well, there was that one guy with the leaked footage and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm going to say it right now. I've noticed a trend with a lot of reviewers on YouTube, and they there's a reason why the one guy calls himself like angry game reviews. Like, a lot of these reviewers would rather give a bad review than a good review. And I would rather have someone that's like, actually, no, I actually enjoyed the game, because I would rather celebrate gaming. And that's where, I mean, like with the game that's on screen right now, Funko Fusion, if I would have listened to the gaming sites, this game's is an absolute dumpster fire trash. I'm having fun playing it. I think it's actually really funny. It's actually reminding me of Lego games.
Well, that's because they give too much power to the journalists. I mean,
and that's what's frightening too. This is also another spooky future that we have to deal with in gaming. Is, yeah, you're right. They have given way too much power to gaming sites, to now where these guys are marching around saying, give us our review code or else. I don't know. You can. Yep. I don't know. Go on, Mickey.
I mean, I think they should just, to be honest with you, I don't know. Somehow I think that they should make a way for just regular gamers, to give maybe codes to like some regular gamers, or bring some regular gamers out to play it. Because, the journalists they're doing what they're doing for clicks. Well, but if you bring out just regular gamers, gamers are just going to play it and be like, hey, this is good. You got a few bugs here and there, but, the game's good, or, this game doesn't really vibe with me or whatever. But journalists, they're going to be so dramatic. They're going to, like you said, they're just going to whip the shit out of the game, and you just have to take that power out of their hands. And the only way to do that is to basically say, hey, you know what? You're not getting any more codes. We're just not going to do it for you guys.
And you know what? That's what I'm actually saying. Like, I think it's funny. And I've said this is going to possibly happen. It all started with like Redfall. And by the way, the same reviewer that I know, like, Dragon Age is a great game. The Dragon Age preview is great. Oh, Dragon Age was one of the worst games I've played this year. It was so disheartening. And in the video, it was like, oh, it was like Redfall, where when I went out to play Redfall, the version of the game I played was totally different than the game that we got released, when I know he's lying through his teeth. And I'll actually challenge him on that, because also, if we fast forward to other people that are just as predominant in the community, they said that they saw some of the same issues in the build at Arcane Studios, and the same issues were still prevalent in the build that came out on Xbox for us all to play. So I've heard two conflicting statements from two big content creators on the YouTube platform. One is trying to say that basically Arcane Austin or Microsoft bait and switched them, where the other one thought, oh, I thought they would fix that stuff before they released it. But either way, both of these individuals are guilty of telling everybody on their platforms that Redfall was going to be an amazing game. And then when it came out and they saw that bad news sells, they flip-flopped.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem. Like you're saying, to get average gamers in, Mickey, the problem is these companies want people that at least have a platform. And that's where I just really, it's like, how do you find anybody with an objective platform anymore? Because literally, people don't click. It's kind of like what I run into with YouTube. You could put like, this is the most amazing game ever, and very few people would want to know what it was. But if you put, this is the most trash game ever, all of a sudden you'd get more. Like, I don't get the whole idea of bad news sells. Like, it's actually kind of disheartening. It's sometimes like
toxicity is the flavor of the
dude. If you really
the flavor of the generation,
dude, if you want me to be honest, there's a time that me and my wife have talked about taking, like, this is why I'm like, I've been like, kind of like, I want to make YouTube content again. I really do. But I want to celebrate gaming. I want, like, guys, I have been like, there was some points in my life where video games helped me through some really like depressing times. And like, I'm like, that's what I'm just saying. Like, you know, when you're stuck at home and can't go anywhere, you know, I was playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. When my grandparents passed away very unexpectedly, my little world was Zelda Ocarina of Time. You know, I had a lot of games I could sit there and tell you about, like, where I was when I was playing some of these games. And, you know, to me, gaming is something that I would rather see us all celebrating, you know, talking about, you know, these experiences we have, what your experience was playing the game, what my experience was playing the game. But instead, we don't have that. It's like, I mean, like, dude, I walk into GameStop, you don't even really want to conversate about games anymore because you could bring up the wrong conversation and all of a sudden you got people wanting to discuss about, like, oh, you know the politics of that company? Are you kidding? Like, I
Too
mean,
many
like,
strong opinions about things is,
you know,
that's
like,
one of the big problems.
dude, I'm just saying right now, if people were concerned about the politics of a company, how the fuck did Call of Duty get as big as it was? Because if we're going to talk about the politics of somebody that works at the company, let's talk about how is it the company that was ran by Bobby Kotick had the most successful game? I mean, if we were worried about what these guys are doing in their spare time, Call of Duty should have never gotten to the height that it did. So, but
that's why I think why Call of Duty is also one of the highest streamed games. It's because if you've ever went to YouTube, some of the biggest viewed YouTube ones for Call of Duty are people just going fucking nuts when they die or and stuff like that. Because I watch them, you know. Sometimes I watch them just to give me something to watch. But it's like, Jesus Christ! I mean, freaking A, dude.
And there's the society difference right there. Rather than, hey, let's see if Dave can come in clutch and basically win this battle royale, which was like really nail biting, cut your teeth action. And like, dude, he came in clutch. I thought for a second he was gonna get, like, you know, he wasn't gonna do it, but he did it. He came in clutch. You know, bravo to him. No. What really goes on are people watching it and be like, dude, I hope Dave gets it. I hope Dave gets knocked off. I hope he just fails miserably because I'd rather see him fail. We'd rather.
Dude, and these people that are streaming, like, I'm telling you, they're destroying keyboards like it's going out of style, destroying mice like it's going out of style, busting their freaking monitors. Like, it's insane, dude.
I know, and that's
so crazy.
And that's where, I mean, like, we should be championing people's successes and stuff like that. It's like, yo, that was kind of very immature. I don't think I'm gonna tune back in for it. But no,
it's not the way the world rolls,
I'm tuning back in. I want to see it.
Not the way the world rolls.
I know, and
it's disappointing, but.
And that's my ideology. You know what? That's my ideology. And you know what the funny part is? That's why I just tell people, like, I go where I feel welcome and I play what I want. And, you know, I watch what appeals to me, and I'm not going to let somebody dictate to me what to do because I enjoy being a free thinking individual that actually has creative freedom over his own damn life.
I don't listen to those gaming journalists because not everybody's experience is the same. There are going to be some people that are like, yeah, hey, I don't like this game. But there's some people that are going to play it. They're going to be like, hey, this game's actually kind of cool. So you can't just smash a game because you think your opinion's greater than everybody else's, when there's probably a whole shitload of people that are going to be like, hey, you know what, this game's kind of cool. The problem is they give the power to the journalists. Their opinion becomes the spotlight, and then other people see that and they're like, oh, okay, well, they play it. Oh, yeah, that game sucks. Well, you've already got an opinion stuck in your brain now. So there's a good chance that you're going to, that your opinion's going to sway that way. That's why you don't listen to people. Just play the game. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then you don't. But don't let someone sway your opinion either.
Right? So there it is. You guys want to know the absolute truth? I pre-ordered Dragon Age. It's ready for it to be unlocked tomorrow at when it unlocks. And I'm gonna play it myself, and I'm gonna see. From what I've seen, it looks like something that I'm gonna enjoy.
Yep, I'm getting it too.
And that's where it's like one of those things where, I bought Gollum. I mean, I literally have no problem figuring shit out on my own, because it's that whole idea of innovation and experimentation. I enjoy being innovative. Like I enjoy having creative freedom over my own damn life. I don't need to have somebody tell me how to do it or blah, blah, blah. But I will listen to other people when it comes to like trying to learn from them. But also at the same time, I'll try to be innovative, like with certain things I do with like, Mickey knows I'm trying to start my own business and stuff like that. But then there's also the experimentation where I'll literally go out and be like, you know what? I'm going to find out whether or not this new business of mine is going to work. I'll spend my own damn money on it. I'll go out right now and buy this game that everybody says sucks, spend my own damn money on it and figure it out, And, I'm not going to let anybody ever try to dictate to me or make me feel bad for figuring things out on my own, because I enjoy it.
Yep.
But that being said, everybody, it is Hallows Eve for some people. Halloween has already started. And that's where at least I'm going to just say I want everybody to have a very fun and safe Halloween. Be sure to just kind of like, again, do whatever you want. Like if dressing up as your favorite video game character is what you want to do it. Don't let anybody ever make you feel a certain way. This comes from a YouTuber that has no problem wearing a Halloween costume and calling himself Fanboy. And that's where, dude, I'm just looking forward to what we've got going on for the rest of the year. We're going to start going into the holiday season at the end of this week. Me and Mickey are also excited because, temperatures are finally dropping here in the desert.
Fucking finally.
I know, right? Exactly, Mr. Glass. I buy games because I like them, not what someone else thinks. And so, yeah, there's like the only time I really will notice something in a review is if the multiple reviews talk about bugs in a game. If the game comes off where it's having a lot of bugs, that's when I'll start really digging into stuff and finding out that if the bug issues are really prevalent, I will hold off on buying a game because of bug issues. But I will not hold off on buying a game because somebody tries to tell me the story sucks or or they don't like how the game ideology was done or all this other stuff. It just comes down to the game appeals to me, and the only thing that will deter me from it is if somebody says that, they're finding a lot of bugs in the game.
But even in that instance, do your own research. Don't listen to everybody else.
Right. Now, when I say
research that stuff, yourself and,
well, yeah, like
go about it that way.
If I would have listened to like what Redfall, the game's buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the bugs made me laugh, like watching a character get stuck in a boat or watching a character glide downstairs and not move his legs. I've seen some crazy shit in Bethesda games. I've seen some really funny shit in other games. The stuff that took place in Redfall was not game breaking. When I say bugs, I mean like game breaking, like you could bugs that like what went on with Throne and Liberty, where when you went in the menu, you could only go left, you could not go up, down, or right. And how do you navigate a menu with only left?
So here's another
like,
thing on how people deal with stuff, right? Phil dealt with that stuff, and Phil's like, look, until the bugs are fixed, I don't really want to play it. Whereas I dealt with those same bugs, and yes, they are irritating. He's 100% correct on that. But I was just like, I fought through it, and there were days where I almost thought the same thing, but where I just kept playing through it, and eventually it kind of cleared up and stuff. But it's just people have different mindsets on how to deal with stuff and things. You just have to go with the way that
I'm gonna tell you right now, the one thing I did not do was fire up my phone and record a video going like buck wild crazy, like
and destroying it and going to YouTube and be like,
I'm gonna waste the next couple hours of my life bitching that I could only go left in the menu.
Right. I'm sure plenty enough people bitched about it because it was annoying. He's not wrong about that. But it just it's just the way it's different strokes for different folks, man.
Exactly.
And you just gotta follow through with your with your own with the way you do it.
But yeah, that's where thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Again, I want you all to have a fun and safe Halloween. I'm still trying to figure out what to do. I told my wife today, I wish I could find like one of those small town like Halloween festivals, with like the hay rides and the pumpkin patches and shit like that. I'm like, I would just like to find something like that. But
yeah, that would be nice. But we live in one of the largest cities in the United States, so
I know
that becomes kind of difficult.
But I'm just like, for me, I'm just like, well, I used to live in one of the small towns here in Arizona, and the only thing they would do is have like a Cheesemo haunted house put together. Like it's always the haunted house. And I'm like, man, whatever happened to like the stuff you see on like the Hocus Pocus movies and those Halloween special movies where you're just like, man, where's the festival? But I don't know. I'm thinking I'll probably either end up at like the least thing I'm going to probably do is go to the 13th floor. If anything, I know over near the Glendale Stadium over at Tanger, I know they have Fear Farm and the Halloween Town carnival thing going on. So yeah, that's where I'm just like,
you guys are gonna go do that?
Maybe. Or like I told her, worst case scenario, just get an Uber somewhere and just have a few drinks at a bar that's actually celebrating Halloween. And you never know, freaking just
watch the people walking by and stuff. Yeah,
shit, dude, I'll freaking walk into that. Cool. I'll walk into that bar fanboyed out. But actually, I've got a Deadpool get up that I'm probably gonna end up in. Like, nice. I've got like a full Deadpool fucking jacket and Deadpool fucking pants. My wife actually got me a Deadpool beanie yesterday, so nice. I would be able to get Deadpooled out. But I've got. You've been in my house. I've got plenty of masks up on the wall right now.
That's true. That is true.
So, you're all right, everybody. I really appreciate you all coming in. Till next week. Like we've been talking here, just play what you want, wherever you want, whatever you want. And don't let other people try to tell you otherwise. Mickey, say goodnight to the nice folks.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up every week. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful night and be safe tomorrow or today, depending.
I know. And obviously, thank you to Mr. Glass, Faded Blaze, Jago 6, Crew 6, Diablo Mozart. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in and dropping your comments and your opinions into the chat for us to interact with. We always enjoy everybody that comes in and checks out the shows live. Also,
Yes, we do.
if you're in the replay, listening to this after the fact, also be sure to drop your comments and opinions down in the comments section. I do read them. And always, everybody, I do try to keep this channel growing. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed tonight's show or want to still hear more content like this. And until next time, everybody, you have a good night.
Good night.